Hello, this is Anna Marciniak from One Horse Life. Here I am with my working student Klara Tus from Slovenia. Hello, Klara.
Hi, guys.
And with my husband Pavel Marciniak.
Hello everyone.
We are going to talk with you, with each other, a little bit about the panic attacks, the very hot issue for many horses and many owners. We are also going to speak about anxiety attacks and just common everyday spookiness in horses. So, Klara, what brought you to Spain? And maybe we will start from the start, from the very beginning. Let's begin from beginning. What brought you to me?
Yes.
What was the first, post, video, material that got your attention and why?
Yeah, so this is exactly really how it happened is that I found your Facebook ad, and I came across it and I saw the on the Facebook advertisement, it was the video of Alondro, the stallion.
The white stallion.
The white stallion, and how he was going from at the beginning of the video was showing how he had these panic attacks and this how spooky he was, super hasty, very hot horse, and I saw it showed the progression how he became this very soft, safe horse and not spooky at all. And so I thought, wow, this is great. I have a similar horse because my mare Cassie is obviously very hot-blooded and shares those panic attack problems and anxiety and things like that. And so I thought, okay, this would be great, especially because, and at that time, I was just coming from the vet because we were just seeing that Cassie has joint inflammations. So I had to do about 4-month break. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't do anything. And obviously that meant to me a nightmare because I knew that every day she will be getting worse and worse because she cannot do anything. I cannot take her out and, trot her or, lunge her or anything. So I said, okay, great, this will be a nightmare. And then when I saw the advertisement, and I saw your videos, I thought this would be great. And then I thought especially perfect for me in that moment because I could only do stuff at walk on the ground. And seeing that the OPP starts like that, it was the perfect choice to do. And I don't think I ever made a decision so quick that I did with you because I literally just texted Joanna and I said, would this be for my mare? And I have this and this problems. I saw your video with Alondro and you said yes. And I said, okay, yes, this is it. And now that's how we started the process.
How you judge this decision from this 1 year perspective now?
It was one of the best decisions that I took in my life, for sure, because it took me on such a crazy journey, and now I'm here with my mare, and how could you believe that? And also because the decision was made so fast, I never decided about anything so fast. I'm a very I think things through. I don't just go, oh my God, yes, I want that, let's get it now. It's not like that. I think over things, I think for a few days, maybe a week, maybe 2, and then decide. And this was very instinctual. Something really drew me to this. And obviously, I think deep down, I knew that this is the right thing to do.
Wow, wonderful. Yeah. Wonderful. I'm so happy that you made this decision.
Yeah.
Indeed, it was very quick. I remember you just messaged me and you asked if this is an obstacle that your mare can only walk for some time, and I told you no, because we start from walk.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And then the next thing I remember was that we were starting the guided program.
Yes.
So that
wasn't even OPP self-study. It was no, I need your guidance because I knew from the past, guys, I had so many trainers and we did so many methods and we tried a lot of things and it never really worked. So I knew that if I'm going into this, I need really hands-on help.
It never anything helped really for her anxiety and panic attacks. Yes. So perfect. So we made a perfect circle to the reason behind our talk now, which is anxiety and panic attacks, because we can start from why nothing works. And why people who deal with horses with panic and anxiety attacks after some time come to the conclusion that nothing works and that maybe this is the issue with the horse. Maybe this is the problem with the horse and nothing can be done about it. We can just try to cover it so it is manageable, but it is the best what we can do. This is because, in my eyes, from my experience, the nature of the problem lies in the tensions. And tensions and relaxation, because these are like the two corresponding forces that exist together, like night and day. We need to have tensions to gain relaxation. Yes, so they are the good policemen, yes, also we can say, for the better policemen to come. They are not the bad guys because they allow us to improve something. But the language of the body between relaxation and tension is so misunderstood and not understood by people. We so much not understand the language of the relaxation and tension patterns because ourselves, we don't have very big access to relaxation and we don't understand what it is. Yes? Yeah. And then what we try to apply to horses that have anxiety attacks or panic attacks is the language of the mind. So our reasoning and the reasoning that stands behind behaviors, like why this horse is taking these behaviors and how to block them or redirect them to something else. But already our thoughts in a stressful situation, so in a situation in which we think about problem, and the horse's behaviors that stand behind problem, like that manifest when the horse becomes tense or is tensed for a prolonged time, are the outbursts, are the signs of the tensions. So it's like you would try to influence something through the a long chain of effects that it gives. So let's say you would try to modify the DNA in the seed by pulling off the pellets from the flower. Yes? So the flower and the pellets are the effects of the quality of the seed. And you cannot influence the seed by trimming or acting on the external things. And this is the same. Yes? So in the same way as if you ask someone who is very tense and you ask them, why do you eat so much? Why you overeat? Or I would say someone gets tense and they start to chatter, yes, and they start to say bad things about other people or suddenly feel burning urge to comment some video on the internet and a trainer who specializes in relaxation sees that these behaviors are effects of tension. So it's not important to deal with these behaviors, to go through, like we would call it, cognitive therapy per se. Yes, like why you do that, what you can do instead. So we don't need to know the reasons, because the reasons, how we try to reason our actions, will be secondary to the real triggers that make us do some things. Yes, and I think that this is, in my eyes, it is the most important thing, that simply us trainers and regular horse owners don't understand that the language of the body that speaks through the tension and relaxation processes is very different if compared to language of the mind that tries to reason, observes the behaviors, and tries to think about creative ways to change them, or tries to find reasons why these behaviors are taken and make them impossible. When you look at horses and horsemanship, you can see that nearly 90%, if not 99%, I don't want to exaggerate, so let's give the humanity hope, 90% of the methods are based on the fact that we see something that is resulting from tensions, and our tensions make us see it as an offense towards us, and we react to that. It is not taking thoughtful actions. It is reacting to something in a way like we don't want to see it. For example, the horse raises the head with the beat, yes, on the beat. So this is effect of the tensions. This behavior is already effect of the tensions. But what the rider or trainer sees, oh, this is unpleasant, I don't want to see it, it makes me uncomfortable, it makes me angry, irritated, uncomfortable. Yes? What is commonly, of course, most commonly advised? Put side reins. Mm-hmm. Yes? Mm-hmm. Don't allow the horse or draw rein. Yes? Mm-hmm. Don't allow the horse to go above the beat, or even go beatless. Again, like the horse shows problems with the beat, I respond to that with my tensions, I get irritated, uncomfortable, I try to find a way to either make it impossible or avoid such situations. And this is why, in my eyes, unfortunately, we are in majority unsuccessful in helping horses who have real problems with really big tensions, and whose bodies got so skilled in collecting tensions that releasing them is kind of like forgotten skill in coping with this situation, because the horse's body communicates with us and with the horse through the tension relaxation language, and we try to solve it from the mind and thinking kind of language. And here we have a clash. Not only a clash that we speak with two different languages, but also a clash of how the things can be solved or dealt with in each language, in each culture. So we can say that we have language clash and culture clash. Yes. Klara, do you have any questions to that? Or maybe something pops up in your mind? Does it resonate with you now, what I am saying about?
Yes, absolutely. Like we try to, I mean, a lot of times we see it as an offense to us. Like you said, certain horse behaviors, oh, he's, now he's angry at me. Oh, he's getting back at me. And oh, he's doing this because of that and blah, 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 But also what I found out through doing different horsemanships is maybe not so much that approach, because they explain to you, no, horses not, horses don't understand this, anger and jealousy and all these emotions that we have. But they're just doing things because, certain situations are making them do it. Okay, and so I could understand that part, but still there would be then no proper solution to how to help the horse to not, spook or get hot-headed or not be able to get trimmed, like there would be, or even if there are some solutions, there are more solutions that disguise the problem and, like they internalize that problem. Okay, horse is now not spooking, but now he's dead, Now he's not wanting to work, So, or like, oh, the horse before was lazy. Okay, I can make him go with the smallest cue to canter, but he's very unhappy. He would put the ears back. And that's what I started seeing through horsemanship methods, you know? So I wouldn't so much see it as an offense, but like, okay, let's get to solutions. But maybe the solutions weren't so ideal.
And how do you see the same things like through OPP now, what we are doing with Cassie?
Through OPP, I feel like this is the first time that I have felt that the things that we are doing that are really, they're the proper answers to these problems. Like we look internally and not externally, and we are not just trying to cover up or desensitize the horses, but we are really going into the core of these problems. Like what is causing them to spook? What is causing them to be, you know, so hypersensitive and alert all the time? And by providing, you know, this way for them how to, you know, solve that for themselves, like how to get themselves out of that I don't know, anxiety or a panic attack. We give them like solutions that they wouldn't have otherwise, and I think that's where they really start to then transform and start to become like more of their real personality, you know, like these soft loving horses, caring, you know, not anxiously driven
Loving
horses.
the trainings.
Yes, yes.
We have to be very careful, Klara, because I mean, I totally agree with you that a lot of things in horsemanship there are now, let's say, smartly put. Yes, so we avoid using language. People avoid, trainers avoid using language like I took it to myself, I took it personally, because I think that many people really honestly believe that it is not true, but yet it is like interpretation from the mind. It is not like understanding what is really happening. Like I understand that it is not directed towards me, but then, okay, this is response to the environment. But again, why? Why would horse need to respond in such a way to the environment? Or why the horse would not want to engage in the training? Or why the horse would feel scared in certain situations? Yes, why then if I understand that this is not personal, why then I want to hide this behavior and I want to get rid of that? You see? Because if you are my friend and I understand relaxation and tension language, and I see that you are not well, and you start to speak that this is because of you, because you did that or this, you said yesterday to me that and that, I would not feel offended. So I will not say, don't tell me nothing about it. Yes? No, let's talk. What else happened? You know, maybe 2 days ago your mom called, or, you know, something happened that got you very tense, or maybe you are watching a lot of news or something, you got tense, yes? But most importantly, even I would not talk to you. I would say, oh, let's do some meditation. Let's do together body mark. Let's do something that can relax us. Let me give you a hug. Yes? Let me do something so you feel more relaxed. Yes? And I feel that many sensitive, many empathic people instinctively do that. So they try to remove stress from their horses, yes, subconsciously, but then they also feel like, okay, removing stress means that we cannot do much. Yes, like I cannot ride, maybe I cannot put equipment, we cannot leave from the stable alone, I cannot take you from the paddock if during the night was storm and you got super tense because of that. Yes, like you were saying to me, if the night was difficult, a lot of wind or something happened like that we don't know on the paddock between the horses or whatever, that then the horse would be stressed on the next day, and then your possibilities of taking actions with the horse would be hugely limited by the stress. So then we come exactly to the core, because when we start to follow this instinctive, empathic, very like natural understanding that yes, the tensions, it is caused by tensions, we need to provide more relaxation. We instinctively remove all the stressors or the tension triggers from the horse's life. But then we can also see that it is not solving the problem, because if the horse is again exposed to these situations, maybe after some more relaxed time, for a very short time, the horse will be able to cope with more. Like if you give your horse 3 months off on the fields, then he comes to the training. First 2 weeks are good. But then gradually, Klara, you are nodding your head. I see that you resonate with what I speak. Yes,
absolutely.
Then after these 2 weeks, when the initial relaxation gets consumed, the horse starts to tense up again, because still he hasn't learned how to deal with his tensions. And to me, something that is absolutely extraordinary about relaxation at panic attacks. Yes, this ability, this hardcore skill that I want to share with everyone in our clinic, One Horse Life Panic and Anxiety Attacks, is to prepare the horse enough so he can be exposed to these triggers that were previously causing panic attack, and through this relaxation at panic attack technique, teach the horse how to relax exactly as at this sensation of getting a panic attack. And if you, Klara, remember what I told you when you came with Cassie and we started to train her, I told you that you must prepare yourself, that we, at one point, we will start to provoke, like in a safe, controlled environment, expose the horse to the panic attacks. Expose the horse to the situations in which the horse was normally getting a panic attack, but now it will be like controlled, safe environment. And because I am a professional, I will be able to tell how far we can go without getting a panic attack. So it will be like touching and using relaxation at panic attack technique to come back.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. And this, in my eyes, is so revolutionary, because it not only allows you to follow your empathic desire to remove stress from your horse's life, but it also shows you and the horse how to run everyday life normally,
with all the stressors,
but not be influenced by them. And if you ever had panic attacks yourself or someone close in your family, of course we can only speak about it in regards to humans, because they can communicate back, but we can dare to assume that for animals is very similar, that there is very particular feeling that accompanies getting a panic attack. It can be getting very stiff and like tense in your body, like you cannot even open fingers. It can be getting very high heart rate, almost uncontrollable. It can be like getting sweaty and dizzy and not knowing what will happen next. So these are individual responses adequate to where is the most affected by tensions part of the body. yes, and how your body interprets it and exchanges it into behaviors, yes, but it will be always a very particular sensation that if you speak to any human with panic attacks, they will tell you, yes, then I know when it happens, I know that I will be getting a panic attack. Yes, and this sensation that you know that you will be getting a panic attack soon can be even worse than a panic attack, because it is like then, without any proper relaxation technique, you know that it is inevitable, that it is like sliding on a slippery slide, like it is one-way street. And this one horse life relaxation at panic attacks technique is giving a skill to relax at this very particular sensation. Yes, and exactly, I can refer to almost now 500 people and horses that did with me relaxation of the stomach technique online. I am not counting everyone during the clinics, that I taught it to. But just all the people in the stomach relaxation group, and not all of them joined the Facebook group. Then, if you know how we were triggering tensions of the digestive tract, and how we were teaching horse to relax exactly at this sensation of getting a stomach or esophagus or guts tensed. And this is again very particular sensation. Once you discover it, once you get such awareness of your stomach that you can observe consciously, you can consciously feel how it is tensing in your body. And if you think that it is impossible, well, it is possible. If you haven't felt it, it means only that you were never consciously trying to find this sensation in you. But you know, Klara, that we have exercises for both humans and horses in this clinic, and horses are masters of it. Yes. I have to tell you, they have like 100% success rate. For humans, it's more difficult because we have such smaller awareness of our bodies. But horses, they are relaxation machines. They are absolutely unstoppable. Yes, and we had like 100% success rate, I would dare to say, in horses, finding relaxation of the digestive tract and finding this particular sensation that tells your body, be careful, your stomach starts to tense, it is tensing now. And then you learn how to enter this situation and turn it around and like take a roundabout and leave through the exit that you entered and start the relaxation process. And this technique, relaxation at panic attacks, works exactly in the same way, because getting a panic attack or anxiety attack or any sort of a stress is also very particular feeling. You can see that depending on your body, you are also responding to stress in a very particular way. Some people start to bite their nails. Some people start to walk. Some people start to clench their fists under the table, and they literally sit like that with clenched fists. Some other people clench toes in the shoes. Yes, some other people just internalize everything. They become very silent and like they shrink in their bodies. Yes, some people get itchy eyeballs, It depends just on the structure of your, I would say, central nervous system, and what is the weak spot in your body where you start to accumulate tensions first. Yes, and the same goes to horses. Some will freeze and will not move at all. Some will, in a panic attack, totally shut down, like they are in their own universe. Others will explode but will stay very communicative. Yes, others will totally explode like your horse and will stay in their own universe, which is, I think, the most dangerous cocktail.
Yeah.
Yes, because high energy and no awareness, no control of the self, and no check with the base, with the Houston, is the worst possible scenario. But again, this is not a helpless situation, because the horse that has panic attacks and anxiety attacks already knows very well this particular sensation that precedes getting a panic attack, that is way, way, way more clear and readable than tension of the stomach or getting tensed at the like anticipation of difficulty or anticipation of food or anything like that. Because why? Because fear memory makes everything super permanent. And the sensation of getting a panic attack that precedes a panic attack, that is like interlude to getting a panic attack, is simply like, oh my God, I may die. So it is like the worst possible sensation. Because if you just trot along and something happens, you are hit by the fallen branch, or a deer jumps from the bushes onto you, you are not prepared. So it's like high peak of stress, and then the body relaxes instantly. And some people even say, yes, when my horse is not spooky about the deers or in the forest or like sudden things, but the moment he sees the obstacle course, he just freezes and starts to shake. Or the moment we leave the stable, he stops and starts to shake. Or the moment he sees, like many times for the racing horses, he sees the box and he freezes or doesn't want to go there and starts to shake. He has panic attack. Yes. Why? Because this is like anticipation of all the unpleasant sensations that are very close to feeling that we will die, I will die for real. And where this sensation is coming from? It is coming from that huge stress builds up in the body in such a way that at one moment it starts to affect the breathing apparatus. And in this moment you feel like you cannot take enough breath, and you cannot take breath when you want to take it, and it triggers the deepest panic attack response. But again, this is like we can see it as the bad policeman, we can see it all like bad guys, bad things, but we can also see it as opportunity in a huge disguise, like the good policeman, because due to the fact that it is so particular, it is so like concrete sensation, and for every horse it is something very concrete and usually triggered by very particular tension chain in the body that starts always from right in the very same place in the body and spreads through exactly the same chain. We can use our relaxation and panic attacks technique and teach the horse to gradually be able to postpone and turn around from getting a panic attack later and later until the situation can be entered and the horse can remain calm in the situation that normally was causing a panic attack. Yes? And this, through the last 3 weeks, this was happening with Cassie. And Klara, how do you see the results?
I think it's just like every time that we have a session with her, we make progress. Every time she seems to be more relaxed and more confident entering. Like you were saying, it's the breathing that causes the panic attack, and the ability or the lack of not being able to breathe. And with her, I think that was like the big thing where where her heart rate would go up and she all of a sudden was like, like not really breathing. And then that caused a panic attack. And
Was it or was it not related with movement per se? Because from what I saw, she could do very little and still get this high heart rate.
Yeah, she could stand still and have extremely high heart rate. Just seeing maybe some other horse freak out, like she could be standing still,
Exactly.
and you could put your hand on her and see that the heart rate is going mad. You know, so like the panic attack was not really just on the movement. So it was basically on the heart rate and the breathing connected with it. So I think by how we did through these few weeks of working with her, that you like got her used to like relaxing on the higher heart rate, I think it's really bringing like a tremendous change. And I think now like it's not, because if it was connected with the movement, even though like now she's able to canter, like she would still be getting a panic attack then if you asked her to canter, but now she's not, you know. So it's really connected with the fact that like she's able to maintain her like lower heart rate, and she's able to breathe properly, and therefore even when she's cantering, she's not going into a panic attack. So I mean, like it's been like a month now, and we did not train every day.
Yes.
Maybe 2 times a week, 2-3 times a week, and she has never been able before to do a few circles of canter on the circle and maintain the same tempo, and now she is. So I mean, I think that says it all. You know, or to be able to do some transitions.
Yes.
And you know, trot canter, I mean, and not just
You get
freak
panic
out.
out.
Yeah.
And you can see that we were not trying to remove the stress from
Yes,
her life.
absolutely. I think that was such a big thing. Not removing, like we were at a super busy yard, and horses were going by, some were getting trained, other lunged, bucking around, and some were in the paddocks, I don't know, also scaring or whatever. Like all these things that I would in usual training always try to avoid, you know. Okay, don't go into that corner, don't go into that part of the arena, because everything would cause, you know, this panic attack or spook, or you know, whatever. And so
do you see, Klara, that because for me it's very important, yes? So I can tell from my point of view, like a horse trainer and of course inventor of this method, together with my husband. So our desire was to give horses a tool that they can utilize for themselves, even without our supervision. So it's not like leadership based, it's not like you have to be the alpha for your horse, or you have to be more relaxed than your horse so he doesn't spook in this situation. I think that we had already few situations that the level of hecticness, stress in the environment was pretty high due to competitions taking place at the yard where we are training your horse. And what pleased me very much was that she was showing that she utilized this technique that we are teaching her still, because we still haven't got to the, you know, to the end of this path. It's just like we are like halfway, I would say now. But it is enough advancement now to see that it is already everything is clicking perfectly, and that we see no major obstacles that could postpone our further journey and advancement on this path, other than coronavirus, I think, quarantine. But I think that it was lovely to see that she was utilizing the technique for herself. Have you seen these moments?
Yes, like outside of training and in the training itself, during the training.
How does it look? How can you tell that she's doing it for herself and that she's using it, coming to these sensations consciously? She's coming back, using the sensation, using the relaxation at panic attack consciously.
Well, just like a simple example is that last weekend was the competition, and she was inside her paddock outside, and the competition was taking place like 20 meters away from her, where was the main arena, and there was 100 people there, and stallions, and I don't know how many horses and riders, and she was literally sleeping away in her paddock, and I could just see her like yawning and shaking off, but never in during that time was she like mindlessly going left and right, and or in circles around in the paddock, and which she would definitely do before,
Okay.
or she would, you could see like her, if she would be standing still, her eyes would be very wary of like something's about to happen, and she could then explode in any minute, but this time it was like she was just like just enjoying sunbathing and just sleeping away.
Perfect. So all these behaviors that you are saying about, perfect example, Klara, thank you very much, like this attempts to self-soothe, yes, are the attempts of the body that speaks this tension and relaxation language all the time. So we are getting engaged into something like the muscles, the processes in the body, and then these processes seize like the most primitive and natural tension relaxation pattern is the breath. Yes? So some muscles provoke and then just let go, and we take breath in and out, and it is like happening through this corresponding tension relaxation pattern, and body seeks it all the time. But when we get very tense, sometimes we lose this natural correspondence between these patterns, like that tense and relaxed places of the body all the time, and get rid of all the tension that is gathered. Because at the end of the day, you don't say, I have such sore rib muscles and the midriff after all this breathing throughout the day. Yes, why? Because these muscles, they are engaged, but then they totally relax. But if this balance is disturbed, then you get too tense, and your natural processes that correspond with these tensions cannot clear out everything, and then out of tension you try to deal with this tension differently, and then the horses walk right, left, or move from right to left leg, or start to windsuck, yes, or they start to bite our wooden elements of the stables, or they start fiddle about behaviors, like some horses can eat everything, even sand from under their hooves. They forget about drinking, they can get colics even. Why? Because you seek relaxation, but in the wrong places. But the desire of the body is good. And then instead of fighting with that, instead of putting, like making walking right, left impossible, or like taking away all the straw and limiting the hay, or like for kids making impossible biting of the nails, or for dogs making impossible biting things in the house, it's better to ask the body, come back to the body and ask, I see that you tried to relieve the stress. Yes? I will remind you how your body can do it naturally. Let's restore this balance that all this tension that you gathered gets released very easily. Yes? And then this is like works like a magic, and this relaxation and panic attacks technique that I am going to show to you is working like a Swiss clock. Like I am not consciously seeking in my work horses with panic attacks, but somehow due to the things that I do and the things that I talk about, I get many of them into the training. So I've seen like literally hundreds of horses with panic attacks. And I can tell you one thing, it is not connected with training.
Yes.
Because I have had horses with panic attacks who were clicker trained. And who were through natural horsemanship and through classical training and this kind of training, esoteric training.
However, or have never done anything.
Or have never done literally anything, like very young horses that already had panic attacks. And older horses, like 16 or 12 years old, that suddenly develop panic attacks. And I also see that it doesn't really much connect to the human, because I have had clients that were very much into self-development and spirituality with horses with panic attacks, and just regular people interested in going to the competitions, going out with their horses who also had such problems. And it showed me only one thing: we must not seek for the shortcuts here in thinking. Like humans always want to find the quickest solution. Yes, this is the tough training, wrong person, wrong condition, wrong food, not enough paddock. But hey, then you get a horse that was born like literally on your hands, in your perfect stable, designed accordingly to all the modern science and knowledge about keeping horses. You give him the best possible food, and the best possible food, I mean not the highest sugary food, but really holistic diet. And still these horses have panic attacks. And the question is why? Because sometimes for many people and for many horses, this natural ability of the body to work in this self-regulating tension, relaxation, consecutive phases is being disturbed. And we start to collect more tensions than we are simply able to release.
Yes.
And when we put all the I call it abracadabra, stuff aside, when we don't try to change the training, don't try to change the human, but of course you will have to continue, you will be changing together with your horse. It is inevitable, yes? But if we don't put 100 blame on the person, because come on, how much blame a person can hold? You are already possibly feeling like a shit because your horse has panic attacks. True, Klara?
Yes, absolutely.
And then if we put this extra load that it is all your fault, it literally makes people not able to act. It makes them freeze. Freeze you, because how can I change? This is the best I am. I try to, no one wants to be bad horse owner. No one gets the horse with desire, now I will be the worst horse trainer. Yes,
exactly.
Now I want to do everything wrongly. We all aim to do things best. So if you already are thinking that you are doing everything you possibly can, and someone tells you everything is wrong, how can you improve? Yes, you don't know where to start. You don't know where to take the next steps. And these panic attacks clinic and generally the relaxation and panic attacks technique is very simple, because it redirects the attention on the tensions and in the inability of the horse to relax. And it teaches you and the horse how to break up this pattern and then how to directly apply the relaxation technique at the sensation of getting a panic attack and deal with that and take a turn and return to the relaxation, to the relaxed, happy, rest and digest mode of being.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions, Klara?
No. Maybe not.
Maybe Pavel?
You said so many things. I think that it's good to sit down and digest it now.
Wonderful, brilliant. So I hope that it was also that I answered some of your questions also, or the things that you had in your head thinking about these clinic panic and anxiety attacks. I think that now it's such a lovely time to just pause everyday training a little bit and address what is maybe the core of your problems. Maybe it's not the competitions, maybe it's not the naughty club mates, horse club mates that train their horses not in the way that you approve and cause your horse to have panic attacks. And this is very common that people avoid riding with other people, or like you are invited for a hug by someone, but you say, no, I cannot go. But you don't mean I cannot go today, you mean not with you, because my horse will get tense because your horse is tense, or you get tense, yes? And it just is a lovely time to think for a moment about, hey, what is the core? Really, what is the core of that? I cannot do some things with my horse, or some things make us scary, or some things make my horse scared, and address them. And then after this is cleared, nothing, literally nothing can stop you anymore. And this is a promise. Yes, and I am speaking about from my experience. And really, this is the technique that the horses understand. And I think that this is most incredible thing, that horses understand the process, how it happens in their bodies, and how this optimal performance program and this one horse life relaxation at panic attacks techniques are built. Because I build them thanks to my husband, who spent literally years on researching relaxation and tension patterns in the body and experiencing them. And this is very universal language. So when we understood and experienced how this language is built, what is the grammar of this language, what is the culture of thinking when you speak this language, we saw that there are absolutely no problems in translating it to horses in a way that they totally get it, that it becomes there, that they can use it on their own, in their own time, not supervised or not dominated or not reminded, like, remember, I am here. In case you plan to spook, don't do it because then this and that happens. Because no one wants to feel bad. No one wants to spook. Your horse doesn't want to feel like the bad horse. Every horse, I feel that maybe, just maybe, we can open to that, like you get a horse with this dream about beautiful future. Maybe horses understand that they are with humans and they also dream about having beautiful days and beautiful future with their owners. No one wants to be the bad guy, yes, and to feel bad. And thanks to that, you will see that you will not have to change what you do every day, although it will get changed, because you will get more relaxed. And I am standing behind it 100%, because I had last year in training for 6 months a horse here with panic attacks, who was getting huge panic attacks on any restriction of the neck and head. So I will be going in details, but just this horse, this stallion, was getting huge panic attacks upon feeling any contact on the bit, and could flip himself back with the saddle, and the rider was rearing when mounted. But this all, neither mounting nor the saddle nor the bit was a problem. The problem was fear of getting restricted movement of the head and therefore not being able to breathe freely. And when we taught him how to relax at the sensation of getting a panic attack, he went home, and he's now over 1 year in regular dressage training. And during all this time, he had just 2 panic attacks, and only because something in this training suddenly changed, like the trainer changed and they were not following very simple, very easy suggestions that they follow now from me, and everything is okay. So it's not like turn around of your whole life. You will not have to resign from your dreams. And you will see that your horse always wanted to support your dreams. Or maybe you will find new dreams with your horse through this technique. But I promise you that these dreams will be built and based on what you want to do, and not because everything else is not possible. And this is such a huge change and such a huge shift in awareness and how you feel. Thank you, Klara. I wanted to thank you for your trust, because I think that having a horse with panic attacks and trying literally everything possible without any permanent or like any results at all, sometimes can get you to the point that you get very cynical.
Yes.
And not trusting.
Yes, it does.
So thank you very much for your trust and for that you gave Optimal Performance Program a go. At the same time, if you are already students of Optimal Performance Program, this clinic, this relaxation at panic attacks is something else. It's a new relaxation technique that I want to introduce to you. I want to show you. It is not that something that you already know. It is like master level, but I want to show it to you because I trust in people, and because I want to give hope to people like Klara that tried everything, that maybe you haven't yet spoken within the language, because you are not speaking even to the horse. So it is not about speaking your horse's language. Because animals, each animal and each type of animal, like dog, cat, horse, they have different language. This is obvious. But there is another language within every animal, and this is language of tension relaxation. And this language is universal. It is the same language that operates and makes your body heal, function, and get ill. And the same language that functions within horse's body makes him heal or get ill, behave in certain ways or not behave at all. Yes, and it is about getting to know this language. And once you get to know this language, there is literally nothing that can stop you in communicate within any species. And I think that it is something very unique and very special about Optimal Performance Program. And I am happy to say that Klara already discovered uniqueness of it, and she decided after experiencing changes within her horse, she decided to join Optimal Performance Program Pro. Yes?
Yes.
and that we will be preparing Klara to go out and help us to spread knowledge about this unique language that I learned. I have to give here absolutely credits to Pavel. Thanks to Pavel and his absolutely tireless work towards getting to know this language and showing us how to apply it to humans through body mark. And with my help, we could apply it to horses within the Optimal Performance Program and RTRT, Residual Tensions Release programs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Klara, are you excited to start this journey, OPP Pro?
Yes, absolutely. Thrilled. Can't wait to start.
Perfect. Where you plan to teach live? What is your...
The intention is to move to Holland where I could teach OPP.
Perfect. In Holland, we don't have yet qualified Optimal Performance Program teachers, and it is such subtle and complex language of this relaxation and tension that I am super excited to dedicate the following months into preparing Klara to go there and help us to spread it. Fantastic. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I look forward to your questions and to hear from you about your experiences with horses and spookiness, panic attacks, shyness. There is still so much more that I haven't touched yet within this podcast, so I think that in following days more podcasts will follow from us, because there are many things like panic attacks versus anxiety attacks, panic attacks versus pain responses, panic attacks versus anger, communication, aggressive communication. I want to touch all of that simply because I have really a huge experience with that and I want to share with you my findings. Thank you so much again. Have a lovely day and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you.